Okay, so we kind of covered some part of the next module, but let's finish this. Uh, so there are several ways to actually generate the secret key and send it from one side to the other side using public key encryption, and one of them is this Diffie-Hellman key exchange. So you might come across this algorithm or protocol several times if you read any literature. They just say use Diffie-Hellman key exchange to exchange the secret key between two entities. Okay? So the thing is, using public key encryption, you do this. So again, the motivation is there are two people who want to communicate. They're Alice and Bob, and they want to do a secret communication, and they don't have a secret key established ahead of time. So they want to establish a secret key for the communication session. And the assumption is each of them knows the other person's public key. Alright, so under this assumption, we want them to be able to establish a secret key. Okay? Using public key encryption. So they know what is called a field size n and a starting value or number g, starting number g and a field size n. Okay, so the assumption is both sides know these two values. Okay, and A or Alice generates a kind of random number A, and Bob generates a random number B. And then what happens is Alice sends G rise to A, she computes G rise to A mod n and sends it to B. Okay? And Bob computes G rise to B mod n and sends it to Alice. So then what happens? Once Alice gets this, she has already generated A. So what she can do is she can compute again G rise, this is what she gets, and she can do an exponent of this, which is equivalent to doing what? G raised to B times A mod n. Okay, so it's like you're getting something like 2 to the power 4 mod 5, and if you have generated say 7 as your integer, so it's like 2 to the power 4 times 7 mod 5. Right? Exponent 2 to the power 4 raised to 7, nothing but 2 to the power 4 times 7. Remember? So that's what it is. Same thing, Bob can do what? He receives G raised to A mod n. So he can do G raised to A mod n raised to B. So that will be G raised to A times B mod n. Right? He receives G raised to B A mod n, and he can take exponent raised to B. So basically he is getting G raised to A times B mod n. Aren't they same? Yes, that's the secret key.
Okay, I got confused. Okay, that's B sending A's message back?
Yeah, let me start from fresh.
Okay.
The assumption is both Alice and Bob know the starting number G, assume they share this, and the field size n. So Alice generates a random integer A, and Bob generates on his side a random integer B. Then Alice computes G raised to A mod n. So G and n are known, so A is generated as a random number, so they can compute G raised to A mod n. Then send it to Bob. And then Bob generates B, so he can compute G raised to B mod n and send it to Alice. So now Alice can kind of do another exponentiation, modular exponentiation. G raised to B mod n, the whole thing raised to A, because A is generated at Alice side. So it is basically then B times A at the exponent. So G raised to B times A mod n. It's like 2 raised to 4, the whole thing raised to 7, so it's 4 times 7, the exponent, 2 raised to 4 times 7 mod 5. Yeah? Huh? Which one? This is a secret key. Secret key means it's a shared key. Because you see, that guy also ends up computing the same thing, right? So both of them can use it as the shared key for communication. Nobody else will be able to use this key. Why? Nobody else knows what's the random number generated at each side. You get it? When Bob gets this, right, from Alice, G raised to A mod n, and he has generated B. So he can compute G raised to A mod n, the whole thing raised to B. So then it will be G raised to A times B mod n. Right? So this is the secret key that they have agreed upon. So of course now if you don't want to send this in plain text, right? So what do? You encrypt this with all these two messages. You encrypt them with what? To make sure nobody else can see them. We can use certificate, but still you have to encrypt it. You cannot, certificate is again in plain text or can encrypt in plain text. Huh? Yeah, you can do that. You can encrypt the private key of the sender, like a digital signature, and encrypt further with what? So in this case, Alice can encrypt that with her private key and further encrypt with the public key of Bob. So whoever gets it has to know the private key of Bob to decrypt this. Except Bob, nobody else knows the private key. The same way here, what Bob can do? Bob can encrypt this with his private key of Bob, and further encrypt it with the public key of Alice.
Okay, but if they first sending it, if Bob is sending A, his number, and B is, how could she encrypt with the public key?
G and A are known to each of them. So this G and A and N. G and N are known to each of them, and it is A that is generated at Alice, B, Bob generates D.
Okay, but you just said it. Okay, A is sending.
A is sending this. A
right.
is sending G raised to A mod N.
So how would she know on the encryption of the public key of B? She hasn't got that yet, right?
No, the assumption, they won't agree on the secret key or the shared key, but they know the public key of each other. Okay, so the assumption is they know the public key of each other, or yeah, they have to know the public key. Yeah. Okay. So using public key, so this is what? Application of public key encryption. So using public key encryption, you are trying to establish the secret key.
Okay.
So this is a typical process. Two entities which want to communicate secretly sensitive information will go through, say, Diffie-Hellman key exchange, is the name of two people who came up with this, and they can establish a secret key, and then from there on, they don't need public key encryption, because I think in the first class I told, remember, public key encryption takes time. Okay, so you use it only for exchanging short messages and secret keys like this, for establishing secret keys. Once you establish secret keys, you use symmetric key encryption. So there you have several other algorithms like BES, AES, and all those things that you can use for symmetric key encryption, which means what? Both sides use the same key. Right? Clear? And also for the safety, or not safety, again security of your session, you don't want to use the same secret key for a long time. So some sessions, if you have worked e-commerce and all those things, if you log into a site and you kept logged in for a long time, it will log you out, or if you say your session has expired or something like that. So you have to re-establish the secret key. So again, for security reasons, the same secret key won't be used for a long time. You have to kind of go through the stiffy element key exchange regularly, periodically, so that you use different secret keys over different time periods. So again, because someone who captures the message encrypted, because from after you establish, you're going to just use this as a secret key for encryption, right? So the security of your communication depends on how good is your secret key and how good is your secret symmetry key encryption algorithm like EES and all those things. It no longer depends on RSA or the public key encryption algorithm, right? So once you establish the secret key and start communicating, it depends on what algorithm you're using for the secret key symmetry key based communication, right? So if you use a very weak symmetry key encryption algorithm, you're likely to be subject to an attack, right? So in general, it's always good to keep refreshing or keep establishing new secret keys or session keys, that's what it's called, session key or secret key for the communication, so that nobody can easily do a cryptanalysis on the messages they can capture. Okay? Sometimes, when you do cryptanalysis, a single message, a ciphertext that you capture may not be sufficient. You may want to capture a lot of ciphertexts, right? And it's better if those ciphertexts are generated with different secret keys. So let's say you require 100 ciphertexts, right? And someone captures all this 100 ciphertexts and then subjects them to the cryptanalysis. It's better that some of them are generated with one secret key and other set of messages are generated with other secret key. Then they cannot really do a successful cryptanalysis. If all of them are generated with the same secret key, it's more likely to be successful to do a cryptanalysis. Whereas if part of it are generated with one secret key and some of them are generated with different secret key, they cannot probably do a cryptanalysis. Okay? It's always good to periodically refresh your session key, secret key that you use for communication. And you can go through that using the stiffy element key exchange. Still, the weakness is what? This G and N has to be something that they have to agree upon each other. So there is some assumption, right? So it's not really foolproof. This G and N has to be known to each other. So someone else gets to know your G and N, then they can also go through this. But you can get around this by using this IPsec, later you see network security, because you can still make sure the messages are being sent and received from a particular IP address or a particular user and things like that. So you can still make sure only certain users can communicate. Okay? But right now, we'll just stick on to the certificates and things like that. Okay? Clear? So that's the end of this module. So this is for your quiz. So let me go over